Welcome back to 90 Days to Fitness. You're with Dan Kazmarek, certified personal trainer and naturopathic doctor. Today's topic is still fat loss, but how hydration works with fat loss. The study of hydration is called fluid dynamics. This is one of my favorite topics. I've spent years and years and years looking at this. I'm going to take a whole bunch of information with a lot of big words and condense it and make it as simple as possible. If anybody has heard of pH, this has to do with acid and base levels. Okay? Now, acid is anything below this pH scale, anything below 7. 7 is neutral, 14 we know is alkaline, or they call base. I'll write alkaline because people are more familiar with that. And 7 is neutral. This has to do with fluids. Let's just take water that comes straight out of the tap. It's usually in the 7.2 area for governmental purposes. Now, what does pH stand for? The power of hydrogen. Studying fluids, taking water for example, H2O. What's H stand for? Hydrogen. Power of hydrogen. Hydrogen. Power of hydrogen. 2 oxygen molecules. Amazing substance. We're dead without it. Outside of air, hydration is number 2 on the list for staying healthy. What I want to talk about again is we're going to go back to the cell, phospholipid bilayer, intracellular fluid, what is also known as the cytosol, or the fluid inside your cell, and then extracellular fluid, which is fluid outside of your cell. When we go back to the first couple of videos that we did, we have to have the right vibrational frequencies of fluids getting inside the cell and fluids getting out. All your nutrition that comes from your blood into your tissues is run by water. Now, what type of water is best? Well, pure is obviously best. There's been a lot of arguments on going high alkaline and other arguments going, up in the low or high 7 range for water. For me personally, it depends on the person. I see very acidic people. I usually get them on a high alkaline water maybe for about a month or so, and then I drop it back down somewhere into the 7s, getting a nice, just regular filtered water, and then, as I told you before, I put people on minerals. I put them on trace minerals, and that increases the electrical charge or the power of the hydrogen within the water. Now what this does is it lowers surface tension. This is key. When you look at fluid dynamics, we're going to talk about surface tension. Surface tension has to do with how thin or how thick the water is. Obviously ice has a very high surface tension. You can't break the surface of it. The tension's too high. Perfect example is when you take potatoes and you want to make mashed potatoes, say, and you put them in water. Why do you have to boil the water? Because boiling the water increases the heat molecules. The heat molecules change the surface tension of the water, and the surface tension of the water goes down really thin there. They can absorb into the tissues of the potato and make them soft. You can't use cold water and make mashed potatoes. They have to soak for hours and hours and hours and hours. You boil the water immediately goes into the potatoes, lowering the surface tension of the water. You can soak it in the potatoes, make your mashed potatoes. Now, when it comes to electrical frequencies, again, your extracellular fluid has to have the right frequencies or the right surface tension or the right power of hydrogen to get into your cell. Then the intracellular fluid then has to have the right electrical charges that's making everything happen inside your cells. And then from there, waste products can be taken out. So you got to understand, coming across this membrane with all nutrients, water, everything that you take in, this is a highly regulated mechanism. Everything coming in the outer wall, through the phospholipid bilayer into the inner wall and then into your cell. These are voltage gates and channels with those receptor sites that allow things inside and outside of your cell. Drinking water that has been sitting in a plastic container that's been distributed who knows from where, sitting in the sunshine, which kills all the power of hydrogen in it. There's no electron activity in it at all. So really the power of the hydrogen also has to do with its electron activity. Let me just throw that on there. It's electron activity, which relates to its mineral content. So the power of hydrogen is going to relate to the electron activity and its mineral content, which gives it its right surface tension, which allows your extracellular fluid carrying all of your nutrition to get in through the cell into your intracellular fluid or your cytosol, so things can happen inside at the cellular layer and on the cell membrane level as well. So remember, distributing water or drinking water out of the tap, first of all, it's not filtered, it's full of chlorine. Do you really want to drink chlorine? No, you need a filter. I highly recommend that you get a filter. that has some kind of pH range on it, or it just brings pure water into your house, and then you can add minerals to it to lower the surface tension, create the electron activity in your water, which creates from the mineral charge that you put in it, which then creates the correct surface tension, which allows you to hydrate. And when you hydrate, it takes away sugar cravings, it takes away the excess calorie cravings that you might have, because your cells at the cellular level are satisfied. They're hydrated, they're plump. Usually the ratios between extracellular and intracellular, usually intracellular you want about 80% of your water, and outside of your body, outside the cell, about 20%. That'll keep you looking from being fat and bloated and holding water underneath your skin. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but that's probably, I believe, the ultimate ratio, or even 85-15, 85% of your water inside your cells. You can really build muscle and increase fat loss and increase your metabolic rate by staying hydrated. When you're dehydrated, you slow your body down on all metabolic levels, especially the brain too. The brain works on it works on water. Everything works on water.